So, Katie.
Yes.
I have here a candle, and this is going to become relevant.
I figured.
I promise it'll become relevant here at some point. I have a little mic. I have my lav mic on a little stick.
I noticed.
Like a little 1970s announcer guy.
I've been here the whole time.
So,
living game changer.
How you like candles? Are you a candle person?
I in fact am. I am a candle junkie. Oh god.
I'm gonna give you something. You're gonna remember this for the rest of your life. It's not gross. It's not. It is kind of gross, but it's not. Our story today involves candles.
Oh joy!
It's actually a really neat story. It's morbid. This is Morbid Mondays. It's morbid, but it's kind of awesome. And it starts in City of Love, Paris, France.
Oh, bonjour.
And the city of Paris has a big problem with dead bodies, all over the place. Because it's the time of the plague.
I was thinking, plague.
With a mortality rate between 30 and 75, and I have to give that giant margin because if you're in like Orleans or if you're in, I don't know, fucking wherever in Europe, it's wild. Like some cities, it kills the entire city. Some cities, it kills 10% of the population. But it kills in France, especially. There are whole towns just get wiped out. Plague reaches Paris in 1348, which is crazy early to think about. Peak mortality rate between 50 and 80,000 Parisians died. Again, very fucking hard because the records aren't excellent. And
stunningly fast, too.
Yeah, this is all pretty quick. This particular thing, this pandemic is between 1346 and 1353. You got to say that because bubonic plague is going to hit several times over history.
Yep.
But our first little area of interest
it's fucking back now.
Yeah, that's right. But it's like almost comical now. It's like somebody gets it and you're like, what do you mean you got plague? There's like one person that died.
The Black Plague?
Yeah. Because they were just like, I don't know, ghost hunting or some shit in like a flea-infested place. So they work with a lot of animals.
That fucking blows my mind. Anyway, continue.
Our first place of interest is going to be a place called the Holy Innocents Cemetery. It's in Paris. It was used in the Middle Ages up into the late 18th century. It was the oldest and largest cemetery in Paris. Often been used for mass graves. No longer the oldest because it's been shut down, but it was like the longest running.
Mm-hmm.
It was closed because of overuse in 1780, and in 1786, the remaining corpses were exhumed and transported to be used in the subterranean quarries around Montparnasse, I think is how you say this. But this is the catacombs.
I was just about to say, that's the catacombs.
And I didn't know this, but they were like a rock quarry. That's why they're down there to begin with.
Oh!
No, I just thought they did that.
No,
that
was
the old sewer system or something. And I was like, yeah, that makes way more sense. Yeah, just a bunch of mines. And they're just like, line up with reliquies and get out of here. Yeah, it was like
very cool and now very artistic. Artistique.
That makes a lot of sense as to why the walls can even hold up.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that always bothered me. I was just like, it's not exactly the best material for, so I was like, what's going on here?
Surprise.
Yeah.
That's cool.
The cemetery took its name from the biblical massacre of the Innocents, which I had to make sure I didn't get the wrong one and be embarrassed. From the attached church that was called the Church of the Holy Innocents, that was demolished at the same time as the cemetery was cleared later on in the 1800s. Bible story, Massacre or Slaughter of the Innocents, is a story recounted in the nativity narrative of the Gospel of Matthew, in which Herod, the great king of Judea, orders the execution of all male children. This is what causes, in the narrative, Jesus' flight to Egypt. So that's what it's named after. And given that, of course, you expect some child graves, which is probably why it kind of had that leaning to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
May have been like the patron saints celebrated in the area, may have something to do with childbirth or Mary in specific. Cemetery of the Holy Innocents in Paris. just recently, there's a new saint. So the new saint of this, like the saint of millennials, basically. There's a saint of like the internet now.
What?
Yeah, he was a young guy. He was dying of leukemia. He's very, very faithful. And two people who prayed it. He's like interred. They filled his body with like wax and stuff so that he doesn't rot, and you can just like go see his body. And because that's prerequisite, you're not supposed to like decay, right? So we sidestepped that rule a bit, but it's still there. So like, and two people who prayed essentially had like miraculous healings, so they named him a saint. And what he did is that as he was dying of leukemia, he made a app. But what it is just like it's an internet app to receive the Eucharist and saint stories. And so he's now like the saint of the internet. It's the patron saint of
I'm
netizens.
telling you, these Catholics, they got a saint for everything,
It's
man.
staying power, man.
Bruh. I'll give them points for modernization.
Yeah.
Like, well done. We were just talking about like social evolution, and I think this falls into it.
Yeah,
the social religious evolution.
There had to have been a conversation where they were like, I don't know, is this too modern? And then somebody kind of went like, we've been around for 2,000 years. You don't think we've
yeah
a couple of times? So I just want to check, how do you like the smell of the candle?
I can't smell it, unfortunately. My allergies are like out of control. What is that? Leaves.
It's leaves. So that's part of it. There's a special candle, and we'll touch on that here in a second. So here's, I love the look at you keep glancing back like I don't know what that means.
What's with the candle? What kind of candle are you?
The burial ground in the city in continuous use since at least 1186. Because again, it was built on the side of a church, which meant that this was probably a crossroads originally, right? That's usually where you find a lot of these.
I enjoy that you know that.
Yeah.
Like
the church is for more than just God. It's also like a meeting place and a place where like officials might
and they
be.
were road markers.
And there were road markers, right? These were the literate people of your society for a very long time. You want them available because like they're really the only ones who know what the fuck is happening at any given time.
That's why most families of that time, especially most noble families of that time, wanted at least one child in the clergy.
Right. Access to banking and information and like
education.
Yeah, like have your foot in the door.
Yeah.
And also just like in a time period where excommunication or penitence or anything like that was so impactful.
Bro, these were the same people, like allow me to move my lav really quick and hold it to make this point. These were the people that would choose death over excommunication. Yeah. This is how forefront religion was in this time period. Welcome to my Balloway.
Yeah. I read a story one time about knights in the 1200s that I think it was the 1200s. Well, they were doing, how they used to do tourneys, right?
Yeah.
But so before it was like a sport, guys would just do this. Yeah. They would just like fight, and then
it would be random contests of like strength and valor.
Yeah, and if you captured the guy, you could kind of like fuck with him for a little while and sell him back to his family.
You got bragging rights and usually some piece of their land. Like they would put up these like before there were tournament prizes, there were like bets.
Yeah, they were all kind of gambling. In fact, for like William Marshall, his big thing was that, and at his time, if you captured a person's horse in a tourney, it was your horse.
Yeah.
So like he made a small fortune. Yeah, basically knocking guys off their horse. Like he would just ride up to them, shove them, and take control of their horse and gallop until you fell off, and he'd have your horse. That was it. That was the end of the fight. And you were nowhere near him because he was down the road. So, but there was this thing where all these guys showed up and they were like, fucking cut it out. And so they brought all these saint things and they made the knights in the area swear on the bones of saints.
Oh, they brought reliquaries.
Yeah. And there was just like, if you don't agree to the peace of God and these like edicts about fighting in public and proper tourney etiquette and all this other shit, these saints are going to curse you. And in the writing, one of the knights passes out.
Yeah.
It just scares the shit out of him, and he faints.
It's fucking wild, dude.
And I was like, I was like, damn, dude. Because, I mean, it's like, imagine if you got in trouble for a minor bar fight, and instead of going to the county judge, you were pulled into the Supreme fucking court or the Congress and given like a full rundown.
Oh.
I mean, it would freak you out, dude. Like, it's such a big,
Listen, I talk a big game, but let's be perfectly honest. I'm a good girl. Like, I will do anything not to be in trouble.
It's so...
Nah. Yeah. I'd have been that dude that passed out.
And the guy that's, like, yelling at you is the spiritual leader of your entire community. So he's, like, big shit, right? Yeah. Like, it's wild. And so, but back to our graveyard.
We didn't do the pre-show, so we segued.
Yeah, so a lot of this information that I'm reading from comes from a biochemist named Theodore Sorks, I think that's how you say it, in the Journal of History of Modern Medicine. Sorry, the Journal of History of Medicine and Allied Sciences. Quote: in the year King Philip II, August had the cemetery enclosed by a wall. The year is missing for some reason in my thing. It will come up later. 1180 to 1223 is the reign of King Philip. So somewhere in there. That year, whatever
Probably
it is.
Probably somewhere about the middle.
Yeah.
Because that's typically when they hit their stride and start doing stuff.
Yeah, had the cemetery closed by a wall,
Unless
3 meters high.
You hit the ground running. Ooh, buddy.
To give proper respect to the dead, to limit its use as a commons, because it was just a big yard, right? So you guys were like hanging out. And to separate it from the market activities, because Paris is growing and it's in the middle of a city now. So, anyways, it fully enclosed the cemetery. This was done to everything I just said. And located nearby, the Innocents. I'm just going to say it now.
I was going to say
the Innocents. Had begun as a cemetery with individual sepulchres, but by the end had become a site for mass graves. People were buried together in the same pit. The pit could hold 1,500 people, 1,500 dead at a time, and only when it would be full would it be covered because they
would throw lye down.
So once you get 1,500, you throw your dirt and lye, you cover it up, and you dig another one. Between 1424 and 1425, a mural called the Das Macabre was painted on the back of the wall. We've all seen these. These are like the plague art, right? Yeah. The common word for that is the macabre dance, and you see a ton of different kinds of art forms, all with that kind of death motif of armies marching in, or the Grim Reaper dancing in a ball. And they had a big mural on the back of the thing, which is really fucked when you consider... the sense of humor was definitely different at the time.
Not really. We still have gallows humor.
Yeah.
These were people that were aware that they were, kind of just being flicked off the chessboard.
Yeah.
At what would have seemed like at random for them.
I kind of think of it, and I kind of think of it as like some of the art pieces that hit Berlin post World War II, or like the stuff that the murals painted on buildings in Ireland of like guys with guns and fist covers.
Irish humor, something else though.
Yeah, because this is like this is past the plague, but they know there's like a ton of bodies in here.
Yeah,
and it's still kind of going on, and so like it's neat. It was painted wall of an arcade below the charnel house on the south side of the cemetery. It was one of the earliest and best known depictions of this theme. It was destroyed, unfortunately, 1669. Nice. When the wall was demolished to allow for a narrow road behind it to be widened, as we're getting into legitimate avenues in the city of Paris.
Basically, it's the growth of the city that takes it out. It's kind of the same thing that happened to Rome. Yeah,
pretty much. Your streets were built for carts, and now you've got what really needs to be avenues because of the amount of people that are there. In the 14th and 15th centuries, citizens constructed arched structures called charniers or charnel houses along with the cemetery walls to relieve the overcrowding of the mass graves. Bones were moved and excavated and deposited into these charnel houses, very similar to the stupas that we saw in the Pol Pot thing, but more in the wall design. They're exactly the same as the ones in the subterranean area. They're just done outside. And if you played the game Assassin's Creed,
I have.
Arno,
all of them.
Have seen this church.
I have, in fact.
So
I wasn't going to say anything.
Yeah, it is that church. The one that you're like in a little courtyard and you're surrounded by bones. It's that church.
I was, in fact, told by a guard, "Hey, you, what are you doing? Climbing. Get down." No.
Yeah.
One of the best exchanges in that entire game. Oh, fuck. I loved Arno. Like, Ezio's my man, but I really enjoyed Arno. Anyway, continue. Les Innocents.
Side story I've written down here. I don't sleep a lot, so sometimes I forget what I write.
I know.
So I have to go through.
Same. I've told you about the notebooks that I just, like, wake up to.
In the cemetery on Sunday, the 24th of August, 1572 at noon, a hawthorn bush that had withered for months began to green again near the image of the Virgin Mary. That was interpreted by Parisians as a sign of divine blessing and approval to on St. Bartholomew's Day of the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre that was begun on the evening of the same day against the Huguenots in the city of Le Mans.
Oh boy.
So in this crazy graveyard surrounded by bone walls, this tree pops back to life because it's probably spring. Actually, so it's late summer. It's August, so it's not as hot, and maybe it just recovers.
Rained.
Yeah, it rained. And then people are like, below the statue, the horrific shit that we're about to do is... but if you know like a lot about French history, and I know that this is kind of your year, this is your time period, this happens all over France. The Huguenots are not, they're like religious radicals. They're not liked. They are run, and they all wound up about where we live, actually, a little bit east of where we live. A lot of them wound up in Louisiana. So not at this particular time period, but later. The remnants of the Huguenots are going to survive. It's a bit
early for American civilization.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's not a word. I made up a new word.
Yeah. Oddly, I don't know. The French colonization in America is a little bit weird.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not good, but it's not anywhere near as bad as the other, like Spain or England.
In comparison,
yeah.
I mean, it still wasn't fantastic. I mean, the handling of America's colonization was awful. Which way you put it.
Yeah, it's all bad. With the French, for some reason here they landed and went, well, we're not super great at finding beavers and stuff, so let's just trade.
Yeah.
And they did a lot more trading than they did rapid acquisition. And for some reason did not do that in the rest of the French colonies. They got super violent.
Yeah.
In a lot of them. And you're just what the fuck happened? Why the switch?
To be fair, they were literally an ocean away from their home base as opposed to a couple of months march.
Yeah, that's true.
It may have just, this is speculation at this point, because believe it or not, as weirdly specifically studied in European history as I am, American history not so much.
Yeah.
I learned what I needed to learn to get out of those classes, and that was it, and a lot of it got data dumped in the process. But consider, you are an ocean, and you are at least several months travel out from home and backup and supplies. I would be nice to the natives too.
Yeah, you're basically right, especially when the people living there are a highly advanced society with
considering the weather.
Yeah, right. You're in hurricane territory. You better be nice to somebody.
You are gonna need help.
I actually learned that Baton Rouge gets its name from the various nations that control the area.
Really?
So they used colored markers and sticks and signs to show where their territory ended. And the red sticks area, that they would put like red batons, red sticks into the area to show that like this was like a no man's land between places where you could like trade and such. So when the French set up in the area, they chose that area because nobody lived there. And it was already a trading ground.
I had always wondered about the name. I did not know it was going to be so literal.
Well, it was called Red Stick, the city in Louisiana. Yeah. And you're just like, what the hell? My sister asked me about that, and I was like, I have no idea. And we looked it up, and that's what it was. It was like they were there for trade. They found an area that was already specifically zoned for trade.
Like, yeah, it was no man's land.
Yeah, so they just moved there.
Accorded neutral territory.
Yeah, it was perfect. Like, you couldn't ask for a better situation. So let's, during the reign of Louis XV, inspectors recorded amounts of the difficulties in conducting business in the area due to the unsanitary conditions of the cemetery.
Can't imagine why.
Right. Caused by the overuse and incomplete decomposition of bodies. Because remember, the pits are open until they're full.
Yeah.
So it's stanky. People are buying food next door. There's a market like right there. 2 edicts by Louis XVI to move the parish cemeteries out of the city were resisted by the church, which was operating for the burial fees of the graveyard. They were like undertakers, and it was a mass grave. So if you move the mass grave, the church will fall into disrepair. And so they're like, that's how we pay for all this, right? To reduce the number of the burials, the price of burials was increased. After a prolonged period of rain in the spring of 1780.
Oh no!
Yeah, gross, right?
Oh no!
Conditions became untenable. On the 4th of September 1780, an edict forbade buying corpses from the Innocents Cemetery and in all other parish cemeteries, meaning that you could not, body men that would go around and pick up dead bodies, or you taking a dead body, you couldn't bury them there. That you had to go outside. It was getting too bad. There's bodies all over the place because they're not going anywhere. That's the thing, is like that's bad about cemeteries is you put them into the ground, you can't use that ground for anything.
Yeah, no, that is.
So you're done, right? Like you can't build houses there because you can't put a well there, certainly. Burials were officially stopped in the Cemetery of the Innocents in 1780. Additional gruesome incidents spurred the removal of the graveyard. In 1780, a restaurateur living near the cemetery of the Innocents went to retrieve some bottles of wine from his cellar, whereupon the smell of putrescence overwhelmed him.
Were the walls gooey?
Art historian Pamela Lee relates in October, he was to discover the horrifying source shortly. The walls of a mass grave adjacent to this house had burst open, sending forth a heap of neighboring corpses into his basement.
Yep. Oh, gross.
Bodies were exhumed. The bones were removed to the catacombs in 1786.
Love canal all over again.
Yeah, they're just pressing out. Little bracelets. Many bodies had incompletely decomposed and had reduced into large deposits of fat, chiefly in the form of palmitic acid. So I'm going to stop right here just for a moment, perhaps. So here's a split. Here's where I'm going to stop the story for just a moment.
I think I know where this is going, and bravo, if I'm correct. But continue, please.
So we're going to switch gears for a second and talk about a guy and a mummy. So,
oh, joy!
A guy and his mummy. We're going to talk about a guy called Augustus Granville. Augustus Granville knows the dude, right?
Uh-huh.
That dude has in his possession, in the 1800s, a mummy. He comes back, he gets some work done, some surgery, some minor surgery, and he's healing up. And they're talking, and he's like, hey, why don't we dissect this mummy? So that's crazy.
The bizarre fascination that the population had with mummies in the 1800s. I did an entire episode on the various products that came from mummies. Ground up human beings. There were pigments, cosmetics, poultices. I cannot stress that enough. They were eating them.
That's right. Yeah. Snorting them.
Yeah.
They thought that was a good idea for some reason.
What? Why? Like, Mamiya Brown isn't even particularly attractive. It's just another form of sepia.
Ugh.
It is. Just look it up. But
no, I believe you, because I am also a form of sepia. So I'm like, yeah, it's about. I'm looking at my semi-tanned arm, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, if you let me,
fucking, what's it like to tan?
Yeah,
I am a fish belly. Anyway, continue.
So, with all the weird shit that goes around mummies, and just in early archaeology in general,
not to mention the folklore around them too.
Yeah, there's all kinds of crazy shit, and so this is like, this is not a king. This is nothing like that. It's a run-of-the-mill mummy. There's a lot of them. At one point, there was a ton of mummies. Unfortunately, because of those cosmetics that you just mentioned, a lot of them are gone.
Yep.
But he wants to do this. Granville's a little bit different. He's an educated guy who wants to do a real scientific autopsy.
Yeah, but there's nothing in them.
But there's a little bit. There's a little bit. And the thing is, they don't know that yet.
Oh, that's true.
No one's really done this. They've never done like a real case study of mummies. So they assume they might all be different. They don't know how the mummies are made. So he goes through.
We could take this all the way back to Assassin's Creed, because they give you a whole rundown on how the mummies are made.
So they do a whole thing, right? He gets with this guy, a couple of his like college friends come over that are just interested while he's doing this, and they do this over like a long period of time. He's got notes. Guys are coming over that are surgeons. People are coming over that are like botanists and stuff. Like different people are taking a look at this.
I'm fascinated by like how this person thinks that they're going to do an actual autopsy on something that is so profoundly and like intentionally desiccated.
So that is the thing. What he does is he moistens it very carefully and removes things by layer.
I don't know why that was so gross, but that was gross.
Moisturize me, Cassandra.
Oh, you're really talking out, y'all.
Yeah. So they're really careful. They take off the bandages bit by bit. And they open up the chest cavity, and they're making very detailed notes, because he's going to take all this evidence and he's going to bring it to the Royal Society. They're going to lay out the mummy, and he's going to walk everyone through it.
Okay.
But he wants to get all of his ducks in a row. Oddly, for the 1800s, this guy's really professional. Yeah, like you're like, okay, Granville, all right, like this is, yeah. He's really into it. The guy who owns the mummy is also pretty scientific. He's in on it. Like it's well preserved, all this stuff.
This is shockingly respectful.
One of the guys comes over as an artist, and they take detailed drawings. So you can, to this day, you can go find Augustus Granville. He published a book. You can find the drawings of like a desiccated heart and its branches to the lungs. That's how we know, like, they originally, a lot of times they let the heart in, because he's got a damn sketch of a desiccated heart and lungs.
Okay.
Yeah, it's real neat.
I'm impressed. Continue.
So one of the things they find, he believes, is he goes, all right, he's trying to figure out how he did it. And so one of the things he sees is that he believes that the inner cavities are partially preserved with beeswax, because he keeps finding this waxy substance all over everything. So he needs that to move, because he's going through the layers of dermis. He's like bit by bit. He wants to know. And he makes a couple of like assumptions about, because he finds different bacterial scars and stuff about what may have killed this man while he's doing this. So he goes through, right? So he needs to remove the wax. So he heats it. He heats the room. He melts the wax off, and he keeps it to the side. And later, because he's an industrious guy, he doesn't waste it. Wax is somewhat expensive. Candles are somewhat expensive. So when he does his disposition, or whatever you want to call it, his TED Talk to the Royal Society, all hold this while I'm holding this ridiculous mic. Like, it's a chopstick. There's a lav mic on a chopstick.
Bro has a lav mic on a chopstick. And, like, admittedly, it's a good chopstick. It's one of the expensive ones.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, the expensive
Yeah, it's not like
ones.
metal
It's one of the nice
lacquered.
ones.
It's like, it's a nice throwaway wooden chopstick.
I want you guys to know that he's delivering this, like so, with such aplomb.
Yeah.
Speaking into a fucking chopstick.
I need to have like a really bad 1970s suit.
With the lapels out the ear.
Because it does give that like stick mic thing that they all had. Where
I'm telling you, it's giving game changer.
Yeah, that's right.
Have you been here the whole time?
I've been here the whole. So he goes to the Royal Society and he's laying everything, and he brings us like friends with him, and they're like, "Hey, look, like this person did this person did this,"
citing his evidence.
Yeah, he gives proper everything, right? He in the fashion of 1800s, the book has a stupid name that's really long. That's like the adept whatever bringing abouts of mummified parts and desiccated remains. You know how they do like the whole giant titles, and it's got like 3 titles. You know, like that. Here's a shorthand of what it is, and then a big long title. I love Mary Shelley. You know, like it's like Frankenstein or Prometheus Rising, you know, like in this long thing. So he does this, and he uses the wax. He makes candles so he can show like, hey, there's candles. I just flicked the candle on the table.
I knew it. I knew that's where this was going.
So he goes like, yeah, there are these candles, and as evidence of the beeswax that I removed, here's the beeswax. So he lights the room, because I don't got electric lighting at the time, with these candles, and everything's fine. You might think later on that something would go wrong with this, but it doesn't. He gives this dissertation. Everybody's very impressed. He goes back, and that's where we'll come back to our story.
So we're back in the basement.
We're back with the corpse basement. Everything's flowed out. And this is the last straw, right? They move this thing. I mentioned palmitic acid just a second ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go back to that for a second. Bodies were exhumed and the bones were moved to the catacombs in 1786. Many bodies had incompletely decomposed and had reduced into large deposits of fat, chiefly in the form of palmitic acid. During that exhumation, this fat was collected and turned into candles and soap made from the human corpses.
I knew it. I fucking knew it. I knew the second you brought the goddamn candle in. I knew that's where this was going. Pray, go on, sir.
This fat is in what is called adipocere, a French term actually coined in this time period. Adipocere is usually palmitic acid, but it's here's what happens when you take a body that has fat in it, and so usually mammals, and you put it in a low oxygen environment that is wet. Gradually, that fat will solidify to the outside, and what's called saponification will happen, and it will turn into soap, a waxy substance, usually on the outside of your body. This is super useful for a lot of reasons. If you are murdered and thrown into a mine shaft, this actually happened, a well, in fact, a flooded mine, and they find you, the place where you are wounded and the fat is exposed will saponify more, so they can see how you died. There's been many, many cases of this happening. In fact, in the Great Lakes region, there's an urban legend, because we all love, it's not a legend, it's real. We all love creepy creatures of myth and lore. If you go diving around a specific wreck, it was a big supply ship, you might run into Old Whitey.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Old Whitey isn't a guy at the docks.
No.
Or like one of my uncles. He's Old Whitey is a corpse that he was a man that died in the sinking of the ship. He saponified in the deep region of this lake because there's not a lot of current and there's not a lot of like crabs.
And it's very cold.
It's very cold.
Very cold.
So it doesn't have a chance to like truly decompose. Because the water's so still, as you dive around the ship and move around, Old Whitey follows you.
Yeah, because he follows in the current.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. So that's what adipocere is. Adipocere is better known by its English moniker, if you're an English speaker like we are, as corpse wax. So
I know. How did I fucking know? I'm getting really good at picking up your context clues, Brian.
I had a little showmanship with the candle. When the cemetery of the Innocents of Paris was removed to the outside of the barriers, the buried corpses, which had accumulated to the depth of 60 feet, were found to a great extent apparently converted into fat. The substance of skin, cellular tissue, and tendons, all of the soft parts, and even the bones had completely disappeared, leaving only the fat, which resisted longest the influence of decay. Oxygen remained in the form of, he calls it margaric acid, or she calls it, I forget who's writing this, but
they,
yeah, we'll go with that.
In doubt, neutral.
This human fat was employed to the extent of many tons by the soap boilers and tallow candlers of Paris for the manufacture of soap and candles. This is an excerpt from like a Popular Mechanic magazine.
What?
Like, yeah, the big magazine. It's either Popular Mechanic or Popular Science. No, sorry, Scientific American. This is from Scientific American.
I was really hoping it was the Mechanics magazine.
Wouldn't that be great? If
that
it was
would
like
be
Modern
fantastic.
Engineering magazine.
And by the way, human candles.
Yeah, this is an 1845 article in the Scientific American lists the French are a people of fine sentiment, and they certainly carried the quality to the charming point of reflection and receiving light from candles made of the bodies of their fathers. We loathe the cannibal, but civilization has features which, if not rendered familiar, would be as repulsive as the practices of the savage. Scientific American, 1985. And so I think this is actually like kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing, but he's basically saying like, hey, it's not really that gross.
Yeah.
You know, like what else are you going to do with it?
I mean, okay, here's the thing. We as a modern kind of people, like given the depth of time between then and now, which, you know,
it's a pretty good swath. Yeah.
It's a couple hundred years now.
Yeah, 1845 to now. Yeah, we're looking at like
the
pretty good swath of time.
Of a literally man-made candle, like,
that's pretty new. Yeah,
would render the modern mind kind of, what? This is hang on, is this made of or by people?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Why, yes.
It falls into that kind of like weird liminal horror space. Because like you and I would recognize this as like, so we're dipping back in history a couple hundred years.
Yeah. Yeah, if I brought this to
odd,
you,
but not uncommon.
This is so saponification is also like a big part of the movie Fight Club.
Mm-hmm.
There is a myth about Germans in World War II that were making soap out of like Jewish people. Mm-hmm. That is a myth. That was probably something started by a still very famous guy in the news media industry. His dad and himself were kind of like, they just made shit up and put it into newspapers. They were kind of the first people to do
tabloids.
That guy has a pretty big ownership in Fox. So like that's
See previous statement. Repeat with emphasis.
Yeah, awesome. But yeah, you're right. Like there's a point in time where like back in time they would have went like, oh, it's made of fat, and they would have went, yeah, sure.
And
like, what else are you gonna do with it?
And it would have been, Not the immediate modern recoil of, ugh!
Yeah, it would have been like, I didn't even think about that. Where'd you get a bunch of human fat? Like, essentially, their concern was the ethical sourcing of such.
Well, yeah, this is also the same time period where, like, people, like, hospitals were buying illegally procured cadavers.
That's right. Yeah, this is the time of the corpsemen. Yeah, the grave diggers.
This is a weird time period where, like, shit is starting to get modern, but it's also still very, like, I want to say esoteric almost, because like there's people eating mummies, There's people making candles out of people.
So basically what we can boil this down to is...
Tallow.
Yeah. The Enlightenment has started. Science is a very real thing, but also there's a bunch of dummy, rich, stupid as fuck aristocrats in England that just do dumb shit all the time.
Like snorting ground up mummies. Yeah,
look, this is also the same time period that the 1840s through the 1900s, where you get like, this is a little bit later than this article is written, is Crowley's time.
Oh!
Like so I
hadn't even connected those dots yet. This is
dumb rich people. Yeah, like that's what we're going on here. But that has nothing to do with this. This is just like, there were a ton of bodies over hundreds of years
that had amassed, that had decomposed into just literally tons of fat.
Tons. And so, like, I'm going to give you a mental image of this, because these bodies are 1,500 pits of 1,500 people.
Yeah.
Think about how oil forms.
Yeah.
So they probably started melting under the heat of their own decomposition, and then that wax went downward and pooled in a layer like it was fucking crude oil.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, when they're digging through, it's mostly dirt.
Yeah.
There's no bones and stuff left. They're just going through. It's mostly dirt, and then all of a sudden somebody hits
wax.
Tons of wax. So it's like you were digging and found like a layer of different sediment. You know, like we're digging. Can
you imagine what color it was?
I imagined flesh. Now I know, having looked at a lot of pictures, it's the color of candle wax. It's like white. But think of Crisco, actually, right?
Yeah.
So lard, right? That's what it looks like. It looks like lard. But
and it would have been immediately recognized as that too.
Yeah, they would look down and there's like a weird, waxy, creamy substance in a giant layer that you're digging through a graveyard to find. And they would go, yeah, all right, pig grease. You know, like that's what they would think, because they did have bone boilers were a profession in this time period.
Can you? My God. So where did all of those candles go? Like, did they go to the church? Did they go out to the general public?
No, these were craftsmen. They basically went like, what do we do with this? And then they put out the call out, and a bunch of fucking tallow guys came in.
We got this.
Dug it out like a game of Minecraft.
I love Minecraft.
Yeah. I mean, imagine you're like a candle maker, right? Normally you buy beeswax. You make candles, so you have a cost associated.
I imagine that this would have been like right on par with the quality of beeswax too.
Yeah. So so here's where we talk about this candle that I brought in.
Is this a people candle?
No, it is not. Damn. I made this.
Shut up.
That is 80% ground beef.
I require the highest of 5s.
So I went on YouTube and a guy was like, hey, if you process a lot of beef, here's how to make a candle for your like homestead. He's like, so you cook it, you drain it, you drain what you drain off, you put in the fridge or the freezer, it will separate the white stuff at the top that becomes solid and is fat. That's tallow. The stuff beneath it is stock. So if you make a lot of stock very quickly in like Minnesota in the winter and you just put it outside and freeze it, that's your like beef stock. And the stuff on top is tallow that you can use for like greasing pans and stuff or making candles.
You made this?
I made this candle. That wick is a piece of cotton cord.
That fucking explains why you said fresh wick. This may go off.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Well, it was sparking.
I've been fucking bamboozled. Well done, sir. I'm so proud of you.
So there's a little bit of scent because this was a leaves candle, like a petrichor candle. The outside wax was still kind of in there. This was a spent candle because you do need glass that will accommodate the candle. So I used a candle and that was burned down, and I filled it full of that. And that's why. But here's the thing. Does it smell?
At all? No.
No.
Like, admittedly,
it does not smell like meat. So when this guy did his mummy candles, it smelled like nothing. No one even wrote about it. There's no like, and it smelled like a bunch of fucking old ass. Nothing. Nothing. Yes. They were just like, yeah, okay, that's cool. And so they assumed for quite some time that it was beeswax. It was not until this that they started seriously looking into adipocere, which is why it's in French. Because they looked down and was like, what the fuck is this? Brilliant. There's a bunch of wax in the ground. And they went, oh, it's from the bodies. Isn't this the wildest crap you've ever heard?
Okay, I knew we were headed into corpse candles. I knew that. I knew that's where we were getting into candles made out of people. I was not expecting this particular branch of it.
Yeah. You would figure this was some weird thing somebody did. And I have some stories of weird shit that we might talk about in the future where people made soap and candles out of people.
Yeah.
That's definitely a thing. Especially soap is definitely a thing in some special stories. But so there's a shopping district over this place now. It was torn down. The church was destroyed in 1787 and the cemetery was replaced by a herb and vegetable market.
Oh.
It is believed that around 2 million people were buried in the Cemetery of Innocents. Dude, yeah, 2 million people. If you want to know how many people you need to make several tons of corpse wax, you need a lot. You need millions of people. A little bit more about our boy Granville. In 1825, physician and lecturer Augustus Granville is believed to have somewhat unwittingly made candles from adipocere of a mummy. He used them to light the public lecture he gave to report the mummy's dissection. Granville apparently thought that the waxy material which was covering the mummy was beeswax and not the saponification of a mummified body. You were talking earlier about mummy parts.
Yeah.
Human fat was mentioned in European pharmacopoeias, I think is how you say that. Pharmacy manuals since the 16th century as an important fatty component of quality deemed for ointments. I'm kind of reading this and the writing is very strange.
So in this particular area, they would have made from executed people, they would have made stuff out of them, out of their blood, out of their hair. They would have rendered them down for grease.
That's right. It's in traditional European medicine, human fat was believed to have healing magic.
Yep.
Significance even until the 19th century. Many executioners, as you just mentioned, recovered fat from the bodies of their executants, called Armsunderfett in German. Fat or grease from poor sinners is what it was called. For some executioners, the marketing of human fat was a major source of revenue. The human fat was used to make ointments for treatment of various diseases such as bone pain, toothache, and gout. Obviously, that does absolutely nothing for those things.
You'd be better off chewing clove for tooth pain.
Yes, you would be better off not chewing anything for gout. That's
it is the king's disease.
Yeah. So it was also regarded as a panacea for particular diseases associated with cachexia. Tuberculosis is what it's an old term for tuberculosis. Also an analgesic effect for rheumatoid arthritis. That's again before the bone
also
pain.
Does not fucking work.
No, it doesn't work. In fact, the rubbing you're doing to put the thing in is more effective than the thing that you're putting on it.
Meat candle.
So I ran across one of these things where executioners, it's a meat candle.
Fucking meat candle.
One of the guys noted in his thing that he had executed somebody by breaking them or cutting their head off. And people ran underneath the gallows bowls to collect the blood.
Yes. I've actually ran into this same story a couple of years ago when I was doing one of my episodes on this. In fact, that's why I know this. It is fucking wild. Executioners would get paid by apothecaries, essentially. Yeah. I want this part, this part, this part, and this part. And people would rush forward, as the axe fell, to catch the arterial blood, and there were fights about it.
Yeah, some vitae, that maybe some little solution that's supposed to make you live longer.
Crazy.
Yeah, think of that mental image in your head of there's a dead guy and people are just clamoring for their blood, and then transpose that to Augustus Granville. They're like, I think we'll do a detailed scientific analysis of it. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just like, wow, we really were fucking animals for like forever. And then like suddenly,
societal evolution, bro.
Yeah.
It's weird how our conversations keep tying into this.
So one more cool ass thing. A couple of cool ass things. Let's go over them real quick. First off, pharmacological things. You could find human fat in rendered human fat in like ointments and salves, because they are good at salves. Yes. Because the fat is very thick and very high quality, and also your body recognizes it as fat. So it doesn't cause any like weird reactions usually.
Like the body is more apt to accept that as a salve or a balm than anything else, which is
it's wild.
Don't give them any credence.
Yeah.
Stop that.
But it's like you mix in like something that soothes the skin and it's accepted easier because it's in human fat.
It's skin.
Yeah. And you put it over a burn or an ant bite or whatever and it works. But so it was sold in South America until like the early 1900s.
Yep.
You could go to a local like what I would call a bodega, you know, local little like trade store, and buy an ointment made from human fat. That's the wildest fucking thing. Modern fiction, the cemetery and its environs appear promptly in Ubisoft's 2014 Assassin's Creed video game set in 1789. Now, so here's the thing. This is a little weird. Just a little bit of the church was destroyed 1787. You can see the church in 1789. Ubisoft.
Wait.
I'm just some dickhead on the internet. I need you to do some.
Hang on.
They don't pay me for this. Nobody pays me to do this.
Have you just become the Sam Witwer of Ubisoft?
Yeah, no, it says as the cemetery is being closed down. So they are closed down. Of course, the thing in history is destroyed. I'm not really knocking Ubisoft. I think they were like, that's cool as fuck. We got to put that in there.
Yeah. We
have to. So like, even if it's a couple of years off, they're
like... Well, also recall that Arno met Napoleon. So.
Yes, yeah. Like Ubisoft's time is a little wonky at times. I do want to play the new game because like a lot of people were up in arms about
the Samurai
Black
one?
Samurai.
Oh, bro,
like,
me too.
Yeah, but that was a real guy. Yeah, I was like, when
he's real.
Yeah, I was like, Yasuke's a real guy, and like, and not even the only Black Samurai. Nope. It's two of them, and there was a British guy too. You know, it was like, it's fucking Japan. It was everybody wanted to be there.
I heard that a lot of the foul cries of it were on gameplay.
Yeah, that's a legitimate criticism.
I've not heard good things about the gameplay of this. Now, granted, I am a very forgiving gamer. Like if your story is solid, I will forgive a lot.
Somebody was talking about it, and they were like, "Well, you don't sneak at all with Yasuke," and I was like, "Well, I snuck not at all with Connor either, and I snuck not at all with Edward. You know, like who was the pirate guy?
That's Edward.
Yeah, I was like." That guy had 6 guns. I didn't sneak anywhere. I walked right through the front door and killed everyone. You know what I mean?
It was a fish hook.
Yeah.
Edward Kenway, voiced by Matt Ryan, who is my Constantine. I have the special, like the uber ridiculous, oh my Christ, why did I spend this much edition of Edward Kenway's game, Black Flag. That one,
That's right, you got the statue and everything.
I do have the statue of Edward Kenway.
Not to veer off or anything, but along with Assassin's Creed, here's some other things that you will recognize this from. This shit wigged me out. Anne Rice's 1985 The Vampire Lestat, Armand's Coven of Vampires resides in the Cemetery de Innocence. I'm not saying that right. The Cemetery of Innocence. When Lestat goes into the court, first encounters them.
Throws a cross at them.
Yeah, they remain there until shortly before the cemetery is destroyed. But there's like a scene in the book, and I think what they were trying to do in the movie as well.
Will walks in, just yeets a cross at him, and watches them scatter like roaches.
That was a crazy scene because it's like it had the.
And I bet every one of those candles was made out of people.
Oh. You know, if it was made in Paris, it probably would have.
It would.
I mean, you're talking like 2 million people, tons, they said, of
corpse wax.
Of corpse wax.
Fucking.
So if you cut that with your remaining vegetable or beeswax or whatever whale.
Oh yeah, this would have been
we're
peak whaling too.
Yeah, we're not in like kerosene time. We don't have like the I don't think whale oil yet.
That's only like 50 years off though.
Yeah, it's getting there. It's pretty, like it's definitely in the ballpark. They probably already have it. But it's also rendered fat. So I'm sure, and bone boilers are a thing. So a lot of these are actually from horses. So like people are boiling horse for
gelatin
and other animal products like glue. That you render through the different bone processes. It was probably cut. And then, so you might have had human candles for like years, perceived.
They probably did.
I mean, unless they get dispersed widely, in which case maybe just like a month. But like, there was candle a dude in all kinds of places. The last thing is
were they squishy, I wonder?
Well,
like
no,
like hard wax, or
when it comes out of the freezer, it's pretty hard.
Really?
I mean, no, so not.
You're totally gonna have to send me this video because I'm absolutely gonna make a fucking baking candle now.
Yeah,
I need you to understand this.
Yeah,
like I have you. You asked me at the very beginning of this, are you a candle person? Yes, Brian. Yes, I am a candle junkie. You do not understand. When the power goes out at my house, no fucking problem.
Oh, and now you'll have a pig candle. A beef candle. You can't do the chicken. Not enough fat. Also, you'd have to make with something lean like that. You'd have to make legitimate adipocere.
Listen, I'm not that dedicated.
No, there's a novel.
We use 80-20 beef. I make a lot of bacon. Perfect
for that. In 1985, there was a novel called Perfume. The main character, Jean-Baptiste Grenouillet.
Very good.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Hey.
There's a little bit of a in the middle, but yeah.
He was born here on 17th of July.
They actually made a movie out of this too, and he killed her.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
and made candles.
Yeah. Well, he made perfume.
Oh, that's what it's called, Perfume.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Perfume?
So, okay, do you want the premise of it?
I would like to know how you make perfume.
So, the main character is very, and here we go with another segue. Whee! Whooping! Ricochet moment.
It's a short story. We got there's some.
That's okay. We're padding it out. It's fine. So, in Perfume, if it's the same book, like if it's the movie based off the book, then this is the premise of it. This guy is a perfumer. He's an apprentice perfumer, and he goes on to be a professional perfumer. But he has kind of that savant nose, where he can pick, and he falls in love with a woman based on her scent. And when I say fall in love, I mean he falls in love with her the way that the guy from You fell in love with the like creepy stalker.
Didn't see it, but less fall in love, more becomes obsessed with.
Yes, and it's her scent specifically, and he basically kidnaps her. Watch the movie, because it's definitely one of those movies, and it falls directly in line with what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because he kills her and turns her into perfume.
That's crazy. So you can just keep smelling her.
Yeah,
that's wild.
It was fucking nuts. I didn't know the book existed until you just told me about it.
That is right along with people kill people.
This was 2006. I was 17. And I was way, 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 way into period films.
Yeah.
At this point, Johnny Depp's rendition of the Jack the Ripper movie.
Oh, that was pretty good. Yeah.
And that was peak cinema for me at this point. And I'm not sure if it was because it was a period flick set in England or if it was Johnny Depp.
It's probably Johnny Depp, because there's nothing about that as period film. Period film is very loose in that sense. So I got one last cool thing for you. One last cool thing before we shut out, and maybe just talk about other shit. But you can, Katie, for the low price, $15, $15 USD, buy a human adipocere, not human, but an adipocere candle. Not this is cooked beef in a pan. What I made was cooked beef in a pan. Adipocere is different. Adipocere is saponified corpse wax.
But tell me, does it light with a black flame?
Unfortunately, no, because there are things that do that, but they do that for very specific reasons, and they actually do it under lighting. It's a lighting trick.
Well, that's okay. I'm not a virgin anyway. So
yeah, they are 80% beeswax, 5% soy wax, and that's to keep it from burning hot as fuck.
That was a Hocus Pocus joke for anyone that missed it.
I did, and I've seen Hocus Pocus. A sprig of dried flowers, just to make it look cool, because that's nothing. Removed before burning, it even says. 15% adipocere corpse wax candle. The reason why it's melted in, so as we've been watching this candle burn, you may have noticed that it kind of died for a little while.
It did. It guttered a little bit, but it never actually went out.
Once it goes, this is what I love about this.
His hand is directly over this flame. Like, there is maybe 2 inches between his hand and the flame itself, and now I'm holding my hand directly over it. And that is putting off very little heat.
Yeah. Perfect room lighting candle.
Yeah, that is...
You couldn't ask for a better candle for this.
Son of a bitch. So, for like a hot second, France was like...
Yeah. Peak candle. And the thing is, like, it goes liquid, but if you cut it with another wax that's harder, perfect. Perfect votive candle.
That's fucking nuts.
Isn't that fucking crazy? I wanted something to be wrong with this. I wanted it to smell like meat. I wanted it to like be a bat, like it would burn too hot, like if those people who make like rockets out of bologna and shit. No, it burns efficiently. It burns cold. There's even something called the wicking effect. You may have seen like pictures of people who self-immolate, and it just kind of looks like their body is somehow sheathed in fire and they are not burning. And that is because at a certain heat, the fat in your body wicks up into the air and you become a candle wick. Yeah, like that is a thing that happens. And so like I don't know. I wanted when I read the thing when I can't
be mad at this.
When I read about the guy using the mummy candles, I first hit it. I was like, that's my story. That's what I'm doing this week. And I was like, it's going to smell like fucking old cheesy dick. The whole place is going to be crazy. You know, it's like, it's going to smell like mummy ass. Because it was taken from the chest cavity of a corpse. No one wrote shit. They just went, oh yeah, beeswax. Isn't that interesting? And he's proven it because it's a functional candle. No, they just worked. They worked and it smelled like nothing.
I mean, it makes sense too, because tallow candles have been a thing for since the advent of candle.
They're even premium. If you go on Amazon right now and get a bison tallow candle, which is like bison have very compacted fat.
Yeah, that's going to be like a $30 candle.
Yeah, they're very expensive and they're like
it's a $30 tea light, bro.
Yeah. And it burns for fucking ever. You know, they're that's why they're so expensive, is all natural, and people love them so much, is because they're
it'll never die.
Yeah, they put them up, and they're we cut it slightly with soy so that it burns evenly. There's no pops or anything, and it kind of cools it down a little, because soy wax is colder. So in some of these cases, I think because of the glass they use, they have to bring the temp down. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, it's
efficient.
It's efficient.
It's fucking efficient. People make good candles. People make good candles.
People make good candles.
Well, that's our tag for this one.
Yeah.
People make good candles.
Remember you too, one day.
I follow a whole bunch of taxidermy artists and stuff on Etsy.
This is...
So I'm used to bone jewelry for
It's awesome. Look, they're selling out and they're cheap because they're getting this as byproduct.
I want to see a close-up of their logo.
So the website is called woodlandshire.com. It's awesome. They've got really cool stuff. Adipocere candles, bone jewelry that says with the tough enough ear in a lot of them because they're heavy.
You know what that looks like? That looks like the font from the show Salem.
Yes, where it's like a tree / knives or something. It looks like a little cage. The logo is cool, but on the website it's very, very small and very, very hard to read. Because of the font. On a big banner, it would look awesome.
Yeah.
But it's just it's kind of there.
Reset your resolution here.
All of this means nothing because right on the top it tells you what the website's called. But it's really cool. Just check their website out. All right, that's our go be candles. One day we will all be candles.
That is now. My goal is no longer to be a diamond and or a tree. I now wish to also be a candle. You know what? No. Plant me in a fucking tree and then take like a finger or something and make that into a diamond and then stick that into a candle made out of me too. Why fucking not? Build a little altar to me.
See, if
I will be a god.
If all humans turn to candles, right? When you bury a bunch of humans, if we turn to candles, and all life turns to crab, can we make the ultimate adipocere crab candle?
Crab
But
people.
they have like no fat. That's the hard part. Is that they're like all muscle, no fat. What is it called?
Crab candle topped with some Old Bay.
What is it? Oh my god! Oh my god! Crab, that's the scent Old Bay candle. I was like,
that's like Jesus
Christ.
This
is the stupidest thing.
All right, thanks guys for joining us for today's episode of Morbid Mondays. And remember, you too can be a candle.
Yeah.
Shine bright.
Shine bright. Hey, this is Brian from Morbid Mondays. If you like the show, please consider stopping by at our Ko-fi account. That's ko-fi/Morbid Mondays. It's $1 a month, or just any one-time tip. And if you would like to help us fund our future endeavors or just want to show a little bit of appreciation, awesome. Thank you so much for listening. And if you don't. Whatever. Have a great day. Thank you so much for listening.